Mercedes-Benz GLB 250, courtesy of Mercedes-Benz of Hagerstown in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we're in the new GLB because this has GLS looks. Instantly, you can tell by the front grille, it looks just like a smaller version of the GLS, which is pretty darn good. Gotta love that. Also, great interior quality, I can tell you that right off the bat. The ambient lighting is still absolutely amazing as well. And in case you were curious, this one does compete with the Volvo XC40, BMW X1, and Audi Q3, just to name a few. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so there's essentially two different configurations for the 2025 GLB 250. You got the front wheel drive setup starting at $45,800, which is a $1,150 bump from the 2024 model year, in case you were curious. And then the 4MATIC all-wheel drive, the one we have today, starting at $47,800. But regardless of the configuration that you go with, the power plant on this one is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a mild hybrid system, putting out 221 horsepower at 5,500 RPM, 258 pound-feet of torque coming in at 1,800 RPM. Again, that power being set to front wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed dual clutch with paddle shifters, which of course you guys know we will be testing out here in a little bit. But 0 to 60 time approximately 6.9 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 24 in the city, 32 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 22 city, 30 then on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking premium unleaded fuel. But so then before we do any kind of fun paddle shifter or acceleration test here in the GLB, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. It's labeled dynamic. It's a black button located just to the left of the volume knob there. Drive modes are going to include comfort, eco, sport, individual, and off-road, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle responses, steering sensitivity, and actually in that off-road mode, it actually can be set to a 50-50 torque split for the best traction. So that's pretty darn cool as well. So anyways, now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the paddle shifters and acceleration here to the test. I want to see how quickly the paddle shifters are going to react for us. And of course, let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, found her straight away in 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. Nearly instantaneous. This thing shifts quick. Yeah, that is a heck of an acceleration right there. So absolutely no issues with merging onto the highway. But you know what? I forgot to test out the paddle shifter. So let's go ahead and do a downshift here. Second gear, go. It's okay. There's a little bit of a delay. It's not that bad. It still is a dual clutch. So traditionally you got some really quick shifting with the dual clutch, and it is pretty darn good when you let the car have full control. But the paddle shifters, there is a little bit of a delay to them, so wouldn't have minded if they maybe give it a little AMG treatment to the paddle shifters. But then again, this is a GLB SUV. I doubt many people are going to be actually using the paddle shifters, but they do feel pretty darn high quality when I was hitting them, so I do like that. It's just I probably wouldn't use them because there is that little bit of a delay. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So as expected, 4-wheel ventilated disc brakes do come standard across the board. However, perforated front discs with painted calipers come on the AMG line packages. So did want to mention that. As far as braking feel goes, it's wonderful. Definitely on the firmer side of things. Instantly bites, instantly brings you to a stop. So it's not a soft braking feel like you sometimes do find on SUVs. So that's why I wanted to mention that. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent 4-link front suspension. In the back, independent 5-arm multi-link rear suspension. But if you wanted to, there is an $850 option, which is an adaptive damping suspension. And that's always one I like to recommend. Dialies can definitely tell the difference between having one and not having one, because what that does is it monitors each shock absorber individually, not only adjusting to the road imperfections, giving you a smoother ride, but it also tightens up the suspension during heavy cornering, giving you better handling as well. So it's the best of both worlds, but the thing that you can really tell the difference is the ride quality. So it is a night and day difference. It's a much smoother ride with that $850 option, and that's not that bad. A lot of times I see an adaptive damping suspensions go for a lot more than that, so that's not a bad option, one that I would probably go with if I was going with this GLB. So overall, as far as ride quality goes, we're going over some ridiculously smooth roads right now, so it's great. But yeah, my short test drive here today, it's been perfectly fine, as expected from Mercedes, so no issues there. As far as steering feel goes, now it is a little softer here in that comfort driving mode. Let's go ahead and switch it up to sport, because I know sport does change it. It's a much heavier steering feel in the sport driving mode, so you got something for everybody. So if If you wanted that tighter steering, more around like the back roads or whatever, put it in the sport driving mode. If you wanted more of a traditional SUV style steering feel, looser steering feel, you got comfort and eco and all those other driving modes if you really wanted it. And again, individual lets you tailor it to your own liking, so you got that as well. As far as cabin noise goes, we're going 45 miles per hour right now. I get a little bit of the engine noise, but other than that, this is a pretty darn serene cabin for a GLB. So it's a very serene cabin, I guess, once again, as expected from Mercedes-Benz. Then touching our rear visibility, because of the shape of the GLB, I can see 100% perfectly fine out the back. Definitely don't have any issues there with rear visibility. Touching on forward visibility, rain sensing windshield wipers do come standard on the GLB. So whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on those windshield wipers for you, kind of like automatic headlights. And to add on top of that, there is a Pinnacle trim that goes for $5,300. That actually adds a head-up display that's going to project your speed limit, and safety features up onto your windshield, so you can better help keep your eyes on the road yet again. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250, finished in polar white. In case you were curious of the exact exterior color name that we have with us here, I think it looks good. White always looks good on Mercedes-Benz, but as always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter W, indicating that the new GLB is built and assembled in Germany still, as it should be in my opinion. But starting up front, you got that 4-bar GLS style front grille, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Definitely makes it look more grown up. I love the look of that. But LED headlights to the sides, they do come standard with LED daytime running lights. You get the automatic feature. Also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night, senses the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams. But my favorite part, and a feature that typically doesn't come standard on other luxury vehicles, is active bending headlights. So when you're going around a bend at night, those headlights are going to swivel based on the direction of your steering angle, better help illuminating what is around that bend, so you're less likely to hit a deer or Sasquatch or an alien or whatever the case. So that is pretty stinking cool. It's definitely a safety feature in itself. And like I said, most other luxury brands won't put that standard, so I like that. LED fog lights down to the corners there, they actually do come standard as well. And you got a little bit of chrome accenting found on that front lip to kind of tie in together with the grille. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the GLB, all the way to the top, aluminum roof rails do come standard. Rear privacy glass, of course, coming standard as well. You have some chrome window surrounds, also coming standard. A little bit more chrome accents found on the door handles to tie together with it all. Then take a look at the side mirrors. They are body colored, power adjustable side mirrors. They will be heated with LED integrated turn signals, of course. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, 18-inch alloys come standard, but there are so many different wheel designs and options for the GLB 250. So feel free to hop on Mercedes' website and play around with that, because there really are quite a bit. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the GLB, first thing I want to mention is actually all the way to the top, you won't find a shark fin antenna whatsoever. It's completely hidden, so I love that. It's a very clean look up top. But anyways, just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light, of course, rear window wiper. You do have LED taillights coming standard across the board, but perhaps the one thing I wish Mercedes-Benz would change on the exterior at least is just below it all. It looks like dual exhaust outlets integrated into the rear bumper, which would be absolutely amazing. However, that's not actually the case. I'll try to show it to you guys, but that exhaust is actually tucked away. It is dual exhaust outlets, but it's tucked away, and those are actually fake in the rear bumper there. So anyways, having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so but now since we are around to the back of the GLB, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, a power tailgate actually does come standard on the GLB 250, so that's pretty cool. There is a button on the key fob, there's a rubberized button on the tailgate itself then as well, but once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 22 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, of course the rear seats do fold down, bumping it up to 62 cubic feet then. There is some cargo lighting back there, there's netted storage, there is grocery bag hooks, there's a 12-volt power outlet, there's a cargo cover, there's elastic straps on both sides, so quite a bit going on in that cargo area. And then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a good bit of in-floor storage actually as well. More so than I'm typically used to seeing as far as in-floor storage goes, so that's pretty nice. But then make our way up to the rear legroom. That comes in at 38.1 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back there. There is a rear center armrest with cup holders coming standard. You got rear ventilation for the rear passengers as well. There's dual USB charging ports, a 115 volt power outlet to go along with all of that, and a little bit of storage just underneath the rear vents as well. So again, a lot going on for the rear passengers. But now making our way up to the front seats, 12-way power adjustable front seats with 4-way power lumbar coming standard. Heated front seats go for $500, heated and ventilated seats for $950. And believe it or not, memory settings for both the driver and passenger come standard on this one. So both the driver can set their memory settings and the passenger can set their memory settings, and that's for up to 3 different people. A lot of times it'll just be for the driver, but not the passenger, so that's pretty cool. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was fine. I like the vertical seams. It definitely made it more comfortable as well. No awkward pressure points going across your back, so I don't mind it. But then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is going to be leather wrapped, and it is a heated steering wheel for an additional $250 if you wanted that option. Then making our way to the startup, let me start by showing you guys the key. All of your buttons are located on one side of the key. You got lock, unlock, and the button to pop the rear liftgate there, but it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just to the left of the center air vents there. And so, but once started up, these are some of the best gauges, if not the best gauges, that typically I'm used to seeing. So this is Mercedes-Benz for you. They do a wonderful job. It's a 10.25 inch digital gauge cluster. So there's a home button on the left side of the steering wheel. If you press that, it gives you a bunch of different loadouts. So there's understated, there's sport, there's classic, navigation, and even an off-road mode all the way at the end there. That's pretty cool. But what makes it even cooler, after you're done changing the loadouts, let's do understated here. If I press that OK button one more time, I can actually scroll between a bunch of different color options as well. It's such a cool look, especially this understated look, because it's like you're looking at the northern lights or aurora borealis over some water and some mountains. It looks absolutely stunning. It's such a relaxing gauge cluster, so I'm a huge fan of the gauges on this thing. And of course, it does give you all the information that you need. There's a digital speedometer if you wanted that. There's outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. So all the basics that you need up there, but probably the best gauge cluster out there right now, I will say that. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. A panorama roof goes with the Pinnacle trim. Unfortunately, we don't have that trim because we have nothing up top on the roof here. 64 colors of ambient lighting, you gotta love that. And like I said at the beginning of the video, Mercedes-Benz does ambient lighting better than everyone. There is a universal garage door opener that goes for $280. That's for up to 3 different garage doors there. Wireless phone charger located just in front of the cup holders here. We got that. Wood trim is going to be available. Otherwise, you're gonna get this aluminum trim, which actually looks pretty darn good as well. But like I said, all the fit and finishes, the silver fighter jet style air vents definitely look good. All the gloss black finishes surrounding that. Got the Mercedes-Benz trim found on the doors here, soft touch material as well, along with that aluminum trim. Overall, Mercedes-Benz always does an amazing job with their interior quality, and the GLB is no exception. It looks absolutely amazing in here. Like I said, just behind the wireless phone charger, you got cup holders. There's a 12-volt power outlet up there. A little bit of rubberized storage then within the center armrest. The storage actually goes down pretty deep in there. You got a couple USB charging ports as well. And another cool thing about the interior lighting is it actually fades on ever so slowly and it fades off ever so slowly as well. So very luxurious style interior lighting. So I like that. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the infotainment screen. It is a 10.3 inch color touchscreen display. Bluetooth and audio streaming coming with that. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Got factory navigation system up there as well. There's some off-road information actually if you wanted to. You can play around with your ambient lighting settings up there as well. There's climate control information. There is all kinds of information up here, let me tell you that. So pretty much everything you can need, along with your radio information, of course. So when it comes to the sound systems, there's 2 of them. There's an 8-speaker sound system that comes standard, but then there's an optional 12-speaker surround sound system that goes for $1,060. We got that with us here today. That comes with 590 watts and a 9-channel digital amplifier. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Yeah, it's dang good. That's the heck of a sound system. I could tell the instant I sat in this car, it made a little ding noise, and there was so much bass. It was so deep. So plenty of bass there, plenty of clarity. 12 speakers, honestly, in the size of this vehicle, it is overkill. So that is a plenty good sound system for the GLB without a doubt. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen at least is when you do put this one in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. Very high definition as well, I'll have you know. But as always, that is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, I always mention this first, the GLB is actually not rated by IIHS, so can't mention that to you guys unfortunately, but front side curtain airbags do come standard. There's driver and passenger thorax side airbags. There's a driver's knee airbag. Second row side impact airbags, they go for $350 if you wanted that option. Also in the back, you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but then there is the driver assistance package that goes for $1,700, and that gives you all the advanced safety. So things like adaptive cruise control, active steering assist, evasive steering assist, active brake assist with cross traffic function, emergency stop assist, speed limit assist, lane keep assist, blind spot assist, lane change assist, and route-based speed adaptation as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the GLB 250, I love the looks. This is like a baby GLS, which is definitely a good thing. Also great interior quality, specifically all the ambient lighting and the gauge cluster and the tech, like everything on the interior is perfect. So they couldn't do any better with the GLB when it comes to that. Also pretty darn good driving dynamics as well. This thing is plenty quick. I love the transmission and the way that felt. Instant shifts, of course, with the dual clutch, that makes sense. So also great braking, and with the availability of the adaptive damping suspension, overall driving dynamics are really done right with the GLB as well. The only two things I could think of for constructive criticism is, of course, with Mercedes-Benz, this thing can get pricey quick, so there's always that. But also safety, I'm still saying this, safety should be standard. So that driver assistance package it gets for $1,700. Most of that, 90% of that, comes standard on like a base Toyota Corolla. So why not make that standard on a Mercedes-Benz GLB 250 as well?